Brown swiveling and finishing. Jaylen Brown now with 26. Tatum has 25 in this game. Tatum behind the back, through the lane and in. What a move from Jayson Tatum.
Still playing without.
Welcome to Celtics post-game live presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks. Chris Forsberg, Amina Smith here with you. The Celtics beat the Miami Heat 111-104. Now the Celtics start this season 2-0. Forsberg, what was the big storyline in this matchup?
I just thought they showed good poise. There was a point there in the third quarter, every whistle was going against them. Miami's making a run. Maybe you're a little slow to make a timeout there, and it seems like it's snowballing. And then they kind of composed themselves. And I think it goes back to the Jays. Like, Jaylen got aggressive. Tatum took the baton. When your superstars can pick you up in that moment and get you to the finish line of a victory, it feels really good.
And Jayson Tatum all over the floor tonight. 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Also got 2 blocks, 1 big block in this game as well. But how did Jayson Tatum help put this team on his back to finish this matchup?
Can I call it a quiet 29?
It is a quiet 29. It did feel like a quiet 29.
Is that a thing? Because I thought for the parts of the first half, he wasn't super aggressive and sort of like needed to be a little bit more present. Wasn't getting the shots to fall, did step into some threes, but then in the second half, I felt like he picked his spots when he needed to be aggressive, when he needed to get to the rim, and really kind of helped them get to the finish line of this game. 10 of 22, it is what it is. I'd like to see him be more active on the glass like he was in game 1, but we're nitpicking at this point because we just have such a high bar for him. I look at the 12 points in the third quarter. When they needed him, it was like Tatum stepped up and came up big in that moment, got aggressive on multiple drives. I just like that. He could sense the game was slipping away, and I think in past iterations of this team, maybe it does. And tonight, the 2 superstars were not going to allow that, and Tatum in particular. I like that all these clips are of him near the basket, like not settling, taking and being aggressive, even in a game where they weren't getting the whistles.
And honestly, what I love most about Jayson Tatum tonight is him being active on the defensive end of the floor. Sometimes you don't see your superstars put that much effort on the defensive end, but Jayson Tatum not scared to get physical out there on the court. How is he taking his game to just another level, adding that to his skill set?
Even I think back to last year, there were times when I think you can make a case that Tatum is the third best defender on the team behind Marcus and Rob. I need to put Al in that conversation because of what he means to the defense, but I think Tatum has always had the potential in him. He's obviously got that huge wingspan and ability to jump passing lanes, get transition opportunities, but this year he seems to be taking it on a little bit more in terms of like he's going to be a menace in different ways. He can come from the help side and get a block. He can get his hand in the cookie jar if a guy's dribbling a little loose. So these are all things that can make him get into that, like, I want to say, I don't know if it's all defense category because the Celtics have so many damn guys that are in that category. But, it does. I think we're more and more starting to appreciate what he does defensively and why he is so valuable is because he's such a good two-way player.
You also have Jaylen Brown with 28 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he was off to a hot start in this matchup. Got into some foul trouble, 5 fouls in that fourth quarter. But what did you see out of Jaylen Brown in this game?
I think back to the opener, and he kind of missed a couple shots early, and we're like, is he going to kind of play his way out of it, right? Like, can he fight through that adversity? Same thing tonight. I mean, you get that, 3 fouls in the span of 30 seconds at one point in that third quarter. And he could have easily let things drift away from him. But I really love how aggressive he's been. Probing to the basket there, finishing with the left hand. Same deal, he had one in the third or fourth quarter where they really needed it, and Jaylen just put his head down and bowled his way to the basket. I just love the way he's playing. I think it's a continuation off of last year, but he came back motivated. And this is what it is now. I don't think it should surprise us anymore. 12 of 18, great efficiency. Didn't take a ton of three-pointers. Same thing as I said with Tatum. I love that all these clips are them attacking the basket. You think of the Miami Heat and you say, Bam Adebayo on the back line. You don't want to be attacking that team at the rim. And what did they do all night? When they needed to get buckets, they went at the hoop and made something happen. And
Jaylen Brown was aggressive last season, but I think he's hit a totally different level of aggressiveness out there on the court. How is that changing his game?
I don't know if he's always had that potential, right? I think sometimes last year he loved living in the mid-range. And you can do that when you shoot a high percentage like he did. But maybe this year it's just I want to get to the basket more. I want to draw contact. I want to get to the free throw line. One, the referees actually call a whistle for you. So it's good to see both him and Tatum being just a little bit more aggressive, and maybe even better, because of all the turnover woes that this team endured last year, being strong with the ball in those instances and being able to finish through traffic, I mean, that's something that had to come for these two to reach their ultimate level.
And the third quarter was pivotal for this Celtics team. They went on a 20-6 run in that third quarter. But how did that turn things around and really get the Celtics to have a grip on this game?
Yeah, so again, it feels like it's slipping away. Like Mazzulla was maybe a little slow on the timeout, and then bam, Tatum's aggressive. Jaylen gets to the mid-range, hits a tough jumper. Now all of a sudden you got Tatum driving to the basket, catches them in a rotation. And there's Brogdon going, gets his own rebound. He's strong with it going back up. What do we keep saying? Everything's going at the basket until, you know what, overcommit, and then there's Grant in his corner office to knock down 2 threes in a row. So it's just, when you have someone like Brogdon that can help too, create by dribbling hard to the basket and fighting. He didn't make a lot of shots, but he was able to get rebounds, kick out, find second chance opportunities. The more aggressive you can be at the hoop, the more you're going to ease on the wings. And guys like Grant and Sam Hauser are going to knock down shots. And it just all plays together. Good on the Celtics for not getting frustrated by that big run that Miami went on to make the game close and then kind of punching back with their own. They're not taking any mess this year.
Yeah, that's what Jaylen Brown said. They're not taking any mess. And then Celtics interim head coach Joe Mazzulla told the media that they want to focus on pace. They want to focus on playing fast out there on the court. How did that show up in this matchup?
I mean, in both games, it feels like as soon as someone gets a rebound, the ball is moving up. They've made a concerted effort. Tommy Heinsohn would have loved the way this team is playing because they are jacking the pace and trying to get easier opportunities in transition, and especially with the new take foul rules where, you know, teams can't just tackle you at midcourt and stop the break. You have to be aggressive in those instances, and I've loved the way that Jayson and Jaylen in particular, again, when they have those opportunities in transition, have been strong going to the basket and able to finish. They're not just like settling for 2 free throws. You're actually giving yourself a chance in those instances to get either 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, it's exciting feeling like the Celtics team is just picking up right where they left off at the NBA Finals. All the good things, except for the turnovers. We'll get into that a little bit later. Maybe we don't have to.